Hello, everyone! Welcome back to the English Conversation Journal. I'm Zumi, and today, oh boy, today we are pulling back the curtain on one of the most intimidating rooms in the office, the director's office.
Glad to be here, Zumi. It's a room that doesn't have to be scary, provided you walk in with the right map.
Everyone, let me introduce our co-host for this series, Marcus. Marcus is a regional director with over 15 years of experience leading global teams. Marcus, I've heard employees say that asking for a raise feels like asking for a favor. Is that how you see it from the other side of the desk?
From a leadership perspective, Zumi, that is the first mistake. If you come to me asking for a favor, you've already lost the negotiation. A favor implies I'm giving you something you haven't earned. In reality, a salary review is a business transaction. I'm buying your time, your skills, and your results.
I love that perspective. It shifts the power balance immediately. But for our listeners who are non-native English speakers, the fear isn't just about the money, it's about the tone. They worry about sounding greedy or ungrateful in a language that isn't their first.
Understood. And that's what we'll fix today. We're going to teach you how to speak the language of value. If you speak that language, your boss won't see a greedy employee. They'll see a high-value asset they cannot afford to lose.
That's a great point. Today, we'll look at the psychology of what a director like Marcus actually wants to hear, the specific phrases to use, and we'll end with a high-stakes role play. Stick around because this could literally change your bank account balance by the end of the quarter. Marcus, let's talk workplace psychology. When an employee asks for a meeting to discuss compensation, what goes through a manager's head?
Two things: risk and return. The risk is this person unhappy? Are they going to quit? The return is their output worth the extra cost to my budget?
So it's not emotional for you?
Rarely, but it is emotional for the employee. They often trigger what we call the scarcity mindset. They fear the no. But a leader is looking at the bottom line.
Let's break down the present, past, future framework with your executive lens. The past, the foundation. Marcus, you told me before that people talk too much about the past.
Exactly. Don't just list what you did. I know what you did. I sign your progress reports. Instead, highlight the impact of what you did. The present is where you show you are currently under market. The future, this is my favorite part. Tell me what you will do once you get that raise. Show me that by paying you more, I'm fueling a more powerful engine for next year.
I love that. It's like saying, invest in me now, and here is the profit I'll bring you tomorrow. That requires massive strategic thinking and active listening. Marcus, how important is it to listen to the boss's objections?
Critical. If I say, the budget is frozen, a weak negotiator stops. A strategic negotiator asks, I understand. What metrics do I need to hit so that when the budget thaws, I'm first in line? That shows patience and timing.
Let's get tactical. Marcus, if I want to sound like a leader even while I'm asking for money, what phrases should I use?
You need to use executive presence language. Avoid I feel and use the data suggests.
Okay, let's give them the diplomatic toolkit, 15 phrases. I'd like to align my compensation with the expanded scope of my role.
Align is a powerful leadership word.
Looking at the value I've delivered in the last 2 quarters, I'd like to review my base salary. Based on current market benchmarks for this position,
This shows you've done your homework.
I'm committed to driving project name to success, and I want to ensure my role is structured competitively. What milestones would we need to see for a salary adjustment to be feasible? I've consistently exceeded my KPIs by 15%, and I'd like to discuss moving to the next pay grade. Is there a path to a performance-based bonus structure? I'd like to find a solution that reflects my contributions and fits the department's budget. How can we bridge the gap between my current salary and the market average? I'm looking for a figure in the range of X to Y. My focus remains on the company's growth, and I want to ensure my compensation is in line with that growth. Could we schedule a follow-up to discuss a long-term compensation plan? I'm happy to take on new responsibility in exchange for a salary review. What is the process for mid-year salary adjustments here? I'd appreciate your guidance on how to reach the senior level compensation bracket.
This makes the boss your mentor.
That's a great point. Asking for guidance is so smart because it puts Marcus on my side. Now, let's talk modal verbs. As a director, does it bother you if someone says, I must have a raise?
It doesn't just bother me, it ends the meeting. Must or need sounds like an ultimatum. In the executive suite, we use would and could. It keeps the atmosphere collaborative.
Let's look at the blunt versus diplomatic table through Marcus's eyes.
Most employees say this: I've been here a long time. But that's not what managers care about. Instead, say, my role has evolved significantly since my last review. Because time is free, evolution is valuable. You might feel like saying, other companies pay more, but that sounds like a threat. Try this instead. Market data shows a discrepancy for this level of expertise. Don't threaten, use data. Some people say, I need more money for my family. But business isn't about your personal bills. Say this: I'd like to discuss an adjustment that reflects my current impact. Never just say, I want a 20% raise. That sounds random. Instead, I'm looking for a 20% increase to reflect my ROI on Project X. Always connect numbers to results.
And tone. Marcus, how do I say these things without my voice shaking?
Pausing is your best friend. In leadership, the person who is most comfortable with silence usually wins. State your number, then count to 5 in your head. Don't apologize for the silence. Let's do it. I'll be the high-performing employee, Lynn. Marcus, you are the busy, budget-conscious director. Marcus, thanks for making time. I know how busy the Q3 planning is.
No problem, Lynn. You've been doing great work with the European accounts. What's on your mind?
I'm glad you mentioned the European accounts. In the last 6 months, I've managed to increase their retention by 12% and streamlined the communication flow. Because of this expanded scope, I'd like to discuss aligning my compensation with the value I'm currently delivering.
You've definitely stepped up, Lynn. But as you know, the board has been very strict with the payroll budget this year. We weren't planning on any increases until January.
I completely respect the board's position on the budget. However, the data suggests that my current role is about 15% below the industry standard for the results I'm producing. Would there be room to discuss a phased increase or perhaps a performance bonus tied to the Q4 targets?
A phased increase? I haven't considered that. It might be easier to clear with finance than a lump sum.
I'm very committed to our long-term goals here. I'd love to find a middle ground that keeps me focused on the results while acknowledging the growth in my responsibilities.
Tell you what, Lynn, put a brief proposal together showing the market data you mentioned and the Q4 targets you're confident in hitting. I'll take it to the VP on Friday.
I appreciate your support, Marcus. I'll have that on your desk by tomorrow morning. Phew, Marcus, I felt the pressure, but using words like phased increase and middle ground made it feel like we were solving a problem together.
Exactly. You didn't make your problem my problem. You offered a solution that I could actually sell to my boss. That is how you get a yes.
What an incredible session. Marcus, thank you for being so candid about what happens behind closed doors.
My pleasure, Zumi. Remember, everyone, you don't get what you deserve in business. You get what you negotiate.
I love that perspective. So here is your weekly challenge. Go to a site like Glassdoor or PayScale. Find the market rate for your job in your specific city. Then write one sentence using Marcus's executive presence language. Based on market benchmarks and my impact on project, I'm looking for a salary in the range of X.
Practice saying it in the mirror until it sounds like a fact, not a question.
If you want Marcus's executive phrase sheet, click the link in our description. Don't forget to like and subscribe to become the leader you were meant to be.
Keep striving. We'll see you next time.